Welcome back to my channel, the rare coin world where history, mystery, and hidden treasures meet. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that marked a turning point in American coinage history. At first glance, it might seem like just another nickel, but the 1964 Jefferson Nickel carries with it a story of economic change, minting innovation, and collector intrigue that continues to capture attention even after 6 decades. The year 1964 was one of transformation in the United States. The nation was in the middle of the Cold War. The civil rights movement was reshaping American society, and the U.S. Mint was facing one of its biggest challenges: a nationwide coin shortage. People were hoarding coins, especially silver ones, as metal prices began to rise. Silver was being phased out of circulation coins, and the mint was under enormous pressure to keep up with the growing demand for everyday change. The Jefferson Nickel, first introduced in 1938, was already an American icon by 1964. Designed by Felix Schlag, the obverse featured the noble profile of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse displayed his home, Monticello, in a classical architectural style. Schlag's design had become deeply symbolic, representing not just Jefferson the man, but Jefferson the idealist, the writer of the Declaration of Independence, and the embodiment of liberty and reason. By 1964, the Mint decided to produce an enormous quantity of nickels to address the coin shortage. In fact, over 2.8 billion Jefferson nickels were struck that year, one of the highest mintages in U.S. history. They were produced at both the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, marked with a small d on the reverse. But there's a twist. Due to the Mint's decision to halt mint marks temporarily after 1964 to discourage coin hoarding, many people confused later issues with those from the same year. This makes identifying true 1964 nickels an intriguing task for collectors. The coin's composition remained the same: 75% copper and 25% nickel. Yet despite having no silver, it became part of a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage. The U.S. Mint was preparing to remove silver entirely from dimes, quarters, and half dollars starting in 1965. As a result, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel became one of the last coins struck before that historic transition, symbolizing the end of the silver era in everyday money. Now, here's something that surprises many collectors: the 1964 Jefferson Nickel was minted for 2 consecutive years. Production continued well into 1965 because the Mint was still trying to meet the demand caused by coin shortages. So, technically, there are 1964 dated nickels that were minted in both 1964 and 1965. This unusual circumstance adds an extra layer of historical intrigue to the coin's legacy. Another fascinating aspect is the evolution of its design details. If you have a 1970 Jefferson Nickel lying somewhere in your old coin collection or change jar, this coin might just turn the tables for you. Most people overlook this nickel, thinking it's just another regular 5-cent coin. But what if I told you that some versions of the 1970 Jefferson Nickel have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars online? Stick around till the end of the video, because I'll tell you exactly how much these coins are selling for on eBay and other major auction platforms, and at the end, how you can find out your coin's real value and the right way to sell it for the best possible price. The 1970 Jefferson Nickel is a coin that sits right in the middle of modern American coinage history. It was produced during a time of economic change, and like many coins from this period, some rare varieties and minting errors have made it extremely valuable among collectors. Designed by Felix Schlag, this coin features the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, while the reverse shows his famous home, Monticello. Even though the design might look simple, small minting variations and errors from this year have turned some nickels into rare collectibles. The 1970 Jefferson Nickel was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark. The Denver coins carry a D, and the San Francisco mint issued the S mark, with many of those being proof coins made for collectors. While millions of nickels were produced in 1970, only a small number stand out for their exceptional quality, rare mint marks, or striking errors that make them worth a fortune today. Let's talk about what makes the 1970 Jefferson nickel valuable. Most regular circulated coins are worth only their face value of 5 cents, but uncirculated and special proof versions can sell for far more. On eBay, for example, a 1970s proof nickel with deep cameo, contrast and flawless surfaces can sell for between $20 and $100 depending on its grade. One of the most sought-after versions is the 1970D Jefferson Nickel with full steps on the Monticello building. The full steps designation means that all the lines on the steps are sharply struck and completely visible, a sign of exceptional mint quality. Because of weak striking in that era, very few coins have full steps, making them extremely rare and valuable. On auction platforms like Heritage and Great Collections, a 1970D nickel-graded MS66 with full steps has sold for around $1,500, while higher-grade examples have crossed $3,000. Era coins from 1970 are also a collector's dream. Off-center strikes, double-die obverses, and coins struck on the wrong planchette have sold for hundreds of dollars each. For instance, a 1970 Jefferson nickel struck on a 1-cent planchette, meaning it's made of copper instead of the usual nickel composition, was auctioned for more than $4,000. The 1965 Jefferson nickel holds a special place in American coin history because it was minted during one of the most significant transitions in the United States coinage system. Its story is one of economic pressure, metal shortages, and innovation, all wrapped around a simple 5-cent coin that carries far more historical meaning than most people realize. Let's go back in time to understand its background. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It was designed by Felix Schlag, a German-born sculptor who won a national design competition held by the U.S. Mint. His design featured a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson III, President of the United States, on the obverse, and Jefferson's home Monticello on the reverse. That design remained in use for decades with only minor modifications. By the mid-1960s, however, America was going through major changes both socially and economically. The country was experiencing a coin shortage crisis. Rising silver prices had caused people to hoard coins made of valuable metals such as dimes, quarters, and $half, which at the time contained 90% silver. This created a shortage of circulating coins, putting pressure on the U.S. Mint to find solutions. In 1965, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which completely changed the composition of U.S. coins. Silver was removed from circulating coinage. Dimes and quarters were changed to a copper-nickel composition, while $half were reduced to 40% silver. The Jefferson nickel, however, remained largely unchanged in composition, still being made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. But the year 1965 became an important turning point because it marked the beginning of a 3-year period during which no mint marks were used on any coins. This was done intentionally to discourage coin hoarding. Collectors had been removing coins with certain mint marks from circulation, creating additional shortages. To stop this, the U.S. Mint decided that from 1965 through 1967 no coins would carry mint marks identifying where they were made. As a result, all Jefferson nickels from 1965 have no mint mark, even though they were produced at multiple mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint also made another big change during this time. To increase coin production, some 1965 dated nickels were actually struck in 1966 and some 1966 coins were struck later. This overlap created confusion among collectors and resulted in minor die variations that are still studied today. In terms of mintage, over 136 million Jefferson Nickels were produced in 1965, a high number, reflecting the government's effort to meet circulation demands. While most of these coins entered everyday use, a smaller number were included in special mint sets SMS, which replaced proof sets during the years 1965 to 1967. These special mint set coins were struck with higher. If you have a 1995 Jefferson nickel in your collection or maybe lying somewhere in your drawer or coin jar, this coin might just turn the tables for you. Most people see it as just another common nickel, but you'll be surprised to know that certain 1995 nickels have been sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars online. Stick around till the end of the video because I'll tell you exactly how much these coins are selling for on eBay and major auction platforms, and how you can find out your coin's real value and sell it for the best possible price. The 1995 Jefferson Nickel is part of a long-running coin series that began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag. On the obverse side is the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and on the reverse is his home, Monticello. Although it looks like an ordinary coin, the 1995 nickel has several varieties and conditions that can make it surprisingly valuable to collectors today. In 1995, the U.S. Mint produced Jefferson nickels at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins carry no mint mark. The Denver mint coins have a small D mark, and the San Francisco mint produce special proof coins with an S mint mark meant for collectors. Over 1.2 billion Jefferson nickels were minted that year, but only a small fraction of them hold high collectible value due to their condition, rarity, or unique minting characteristics. For everyday circulated 1995 nickels, the value is usually 5 cents their face value. However, when we move into uncirculated or proof grades, the numbers change dramatically. On eBay and other online platforms, collectors have been seen paying between $5 and $30 for regular mint state examples with sharp detail and full luster. But the real money starts when you find a coin in near-perfect mint condition or with special design features like the full steps designation. Full steps refers to the staircase on Monticello's reverse being fully struck and clearly visible. Because of the striking process, many nickels from the 1990s have weak details in this area. That's why 1995 nickels with 5 or 6 complete steps are rare and highly prized. On eBay, listings show that 1995's proof nickels can sell anywhere between $20 and $100, depending on condition and certification. Coins in their original government-issued mint sets also tend to sell well, especially if the packaging is intact and the coin remains untarnished. Error coins are another exciting area. Some 1995 Jefferson nickels have been found with off-center strikes, double die obverses, or misaligned dies, making them worth far more than face value. One known 1995 nickel struck off-center by about 10% sold for $250, while a double die obverse example fetched over $400 due to its clear doubling on the inscriptions. Collectors today are paying. 1993 Jefferson nickel in your coin jar wallet or collection. You might want to take a closer look at it because this little coin could actually turn the tables for you. It may seem like just another ordinary nickel, but some rare 1993 Liberty Jefferson nickels are being sold online for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. So, stick around till the end of this video because I'll reveal how much these coins are actually worth on eBay and other major auction platforms and how you can find out if your coin is one of the valuable ones that collectors are hunting for. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938, featuring the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse. The 1993 issue, like many others, was struck at the Philadelphia Denver and San Francisco. Mints. Coins from Philadelphia. Bear no mint mark. Those from Denver have a small d mark dot and the San Francisco. Mint produced special proof coins, marked with an S, while billions were produced that year. Only a small number hold real collector value today due to their unique features, pristine condition, or rare minting errors. In circulated condition. A 1993 Jefferson Nickel is usually worth just its face value of 5 cents. But when you move into higher grades, the story changes dramatically. Collectors on eBay and auction sites are paying anywhere from $5 up to $50 for coins in mint state condition. These are coins that have never been used in everyday transactions and still retain their original mint luster. The real treasures among 1993 nickels are those graded with the full steps designation. This term refers to the steps of Monticello being completely struck and visible. Which is rare because the steps often appear weak or incomplete due to striking issues at the mint. A 1993 D Jefferson Nickel with full steps graded MS66 or higher can sell for anywhere between $250 and $700, and in exceptional cases, where the coin achieves a grade of MS67 full steps from PCGS or NGC, it can fetch over $1,000 at major coin auctions. One example includes a 1993 P Jefferson Nickel graded MS67 full steps that sold for nearly $1,200 on heritage auctions. Another high-grade proof version from the San Francisco Mint, certified PR70 Deep Cameo, sold for close to $500. These coins are prized for their sharp details, mirrored surfaces, and flawless condition. Proof coins from 1993, especially those with the S-Mint mark, were made specifically for collectors and not for circulation. These coins have a beautiful mirror-like finish and are often sold in sets. Depending on the condition, they can range from $10 to $100 each, especially if certified by a professional grading service. Error coins are another category that can make the 1993 Jefferson Nickel extremely valuable. Some rare examples include off-center strikes,